It's time for the Sport Corner Siam Hockey League news.
People here, but we actually have a quarter of the league here. It may not seem like it, but like 16, 17 guys, about a quarter of the league. So
pizza's coming out now, so they're not going to listen to you anyways.
All right, we have pizza coming out now, Taylor. We have pizza coming out now. Did you come here drunk? Did you come here drunk, or did you just anyway? That's his way. That's his way. So anyway, so we have pizza coming out now, so you can eat and listen. Beers are of course on us for a while. Pizzas, but this turnout for those of you who weren't here last year, it's better than last year, so it's getting better every year. Almost every one of you has an SHL something on, so that's pretty cool. But I will go through. Oh, at least go Matthews could go. Anyway, sorry. I'm going to go through this. M. White's here, thank you. We've got a few things to go over, which I'll do. I think Cole's going to be our computer guy here, so you can't eat. So I'll go through a few things, go through the PowerPoint real quick, but we'll announce the teams today. Cole, next slide, buddy. There you go, buddy. So we're going to go through the last season recap, which won't be too long. Go over a few new items. We're going to announce a scholarship winner. He's not here, but we want to announce that winner as well. Mention the new sponsors, announce the teams, go over some scheduling issues, and then we'll take any questions that you may have. All right, Cole, next slide. There you go. Okay, so obviously last season, guys, was a great year. First year of the league. Pretty excited about it. We think it exceeded our expectations pretty quickly. We didn't expect to have that much success, support, and other things, so we're pretty happy about that. The numbers we had on how many one-goal games or overtime games is about 70-80% of the games, which is huge, pretty good for us. Not to pick on the previous league, but the old expat league here didn't come close to that. We saw ourselves in local papers. We had a lot of internet buzz. We had some Big Chili magazine, which I'll mention in a second. But a lot of positive feedback from a lot of people. Obviously, Johnny Oduya came back out here last spring. He did a question-and-answer session. He agreed to do the scholarship, and we're pretty happy about that. Our discussions with Johnny have been that he'll be back again this year, hopefully after the season, NHL season, which will be great. Social media presence I mentioned, and obviously for you guys, we thank you guys for your support. Last year, as you know, we had an issue with the Thai national team and some of those guys playing, and we made it through the season, we think pretty successfully, even though a lot of those players were almost ordered not to play for part of the season. As you know, Yohani is here now as the coach of the national team, and his support thank you, Yohani, his support we think this year is going to help us a lot. We'll go over that a little bit later on, but we're happy for many reasons. Yohani is now a Thailand resident. If I say anything about this slide, I'm just a jerk. Let's just look at it and embrace it for a second and move on. Okay, go ahead. Next slide. Okay, good. All right, so obviously new sponsors this year. Couldn't be happier about the sponsors. As you know, Expedia is a sponsor. Hertz is a sponsor. Thanks to Ralph, who's here. Thank you, Ralph. Really, really happy about the sponsors that are here. Couldn't be happier. The sponsor is here. Sir, thank you very much for being here. Hertz and Expedia. I didn't see you, sorry. Just every table gets a pizza, right? Everyone wants a pizza. Raise your hand for a pizza. That's huge for us. Hooters this year couldn't sponsor for numerous reasons, maybe next year, but Hooters out, and then Hertz Expedia coming in is huge for us. We have a lot of exciting events planned for those sponsorships, and I don't think Devin's here, but Aware stepped up again, and then our Spitfire sponsor, anonymous sponsor, obviously agreed again to be a sponsor. It's great. And then the most important thing is Sport Corner decided to step up and not be a team sponsor. Sport Corner is our platinum sponsor. So as you all know, this is now called the Sport Corner Siam Hockey League. So it says new teams. that's new teams for two reasons. One is because Hertz is now Hooters has become Hertz, and Sport Corner Titanium has become Expedia. Those are the two changes. We'll go through the team soon, but those are the major changes in sponsors. Also, new teams we'll go over is that there's been a lot of changes in the teams. We did a draft this year, but as I'll go over later, due to some departing players, we made some changes. We made some trades throughout the offseason, working with the captains and the draft, but we'll go over that pretty soon. I think you guys saw this online if you saw it, but we're trying to be a green league, the first green hockey league, so to speak, in Thailand. So we will not be having water bottles on the benches. As far as the individual plastic bottles, you will all receive reusable water bottles with the SHL on one side, and the sponsor for that is KCC, sorry. So everyone, great sponsor there. We're going to have reusable water bottles, and the rink will have water stations set up to fill your bottle up before the game, before every game. So if you lose that, we'll cross that bridge, but don't lose it. So that's also really excited about that. And then, go ahead, sorry.
Can I just jump in? So this is not a cost-saving thing. We will actually spend the same amount of money on water still, but it's just that it'll be provided in larger filling stations, and then you will all get a water bottle. So it's not a cost cutting that we remove free water on the bench. It's just a different way of getting it to you guys.
So yeah, so it's not going to, like I said, it's going to cost the same amount of money for the water, but you know, the pictures of us on the bench with 80 water bottles sitting there is just not a thing we want to see. So we're happy to do that this year as well. And you know, obviously the one thing we stress over and over again, and to be honest, we get a lot of flack. I get a lot of flack, is that everybody who wants to play hockey in Thailand in our league can't play. We have decided, Christian, myself, and Scott, we started the league. We decided we want to be a competitive league. And, you know, we believe that in the past, the fact that we had 3 lines with limited talent on the third line affected our ability to have competitive hockey. So people aren't drafted. It's very infrequently in an amateur league in the world do you not let everybody play. Last year, about 3 or 4 people weren't drafted. This year, we're close to about 12 or 13 people were not drafted. So, yes, we feel bad about it, but we do also believe the SHL is competitive as it is because we did that. Now, our goal in the future, obviously in the future, is to have 2 divisions, an A and a B division, and expand. We're already talking about that. The place for us to go is the BIHL and grab some of those players who want to play, and that's what we're working on that. Our hope is next year we'll have a 3-team, maybe a 3-team B division, but please trust us when it bothers us that we can't let everybody play, but it's kind of a decision we made, and we believe that's why there were so many 1-goal games last year and close games. So most of you were drafted, so I'm not apologizing to any of you, but I'm apologizing to the world that we still feel bad about that. And Johanny, we can discuss too that we are cooperating with the Thai national team. We're trying to work with them on schedules, and we are really happy, and we want to thank Johanny for bringing in a real large portion of the Thai national team to this league, and we believe the partnership there will only make the Thai national team a better team. But I want to give a round of applause to Johanny for all of his help on that as well. Oh, shit, sorry. That's what that is. That's fine.
I'm covering for pizza.
All right, so I know all of you want to read these documents, of course, you know, cover to cover. But if you do want to see our rules, Constitution, or our flyer, those are all online. I'm not going to cover those, but last year we had a few actual requests for the rules. Those are all online. We have no major rule changes this year to announce. We're not going to have the face-off, NHL face-off issue, not any more slashing calls like the NHL. No major rule changes this year for sure. So as far as our goal to expand, you know, we've got no one else to thank, and a round of applause in a second here for Dom. Our new webpage, if you've seen it, is amazing. It's improved 100 million %. It's an amazing new webpage. Facebook, I think we're updating almost every day, if not every couple of days. This year we're going to have Instagram and Twitter feeds coming out of the SHL. You'll be able to follow. We are working on our number one push, because we're in Thailand, is to have a line account hopefully in the next month or so we'll have a line account set up. We will use the line account to send out updates. For example, any issues at the rink, Zamboni breaks down or what have you. Our hope is to be able to give you guys updates real time on Sunday and Thursday, let you know what's happening at the rink, but we hope to have a line account set up very soon. The very successful podcast Dom had was so successful that we actually have a sponsor. Big Chili Magazine has asked to sponsor Dom's podcast, which he will do. So what that will do for us is that for the next our season's about 6 months. For the 6 months of the season, there will be an SHL page in Big Chili Magazine. It'll have stats, have scores, it'll have updated, what happened that month. So we're really excited about that. Every month now we're going to have, in the sports pages of the Big Chili Magazine, there will be an SHL page, a full page for us as part of their kind of deal they have to sponsor Don's podcast. Print and media, we're working on getting into, for those of you who follow the BIHL or play in the BIHL, Siam Sport, the Thai paper, they're in that consistently. We're going to try and put the SHL in that as well. We're working on that. And as usual, working on the Bangkok Post. It's a tough nut to crack, but we're going to try and get ourselves in Bangkok Post again if we can. Obviously, advertising, we're going to try and get more and more advertising as part of, at the rink, during games, on the podcast, everywhere else. If any of you have any ideas, thoughts, you own a business you want to work on advertising, of course, let us know. And one more thing about the BIHL, they live stream their games. We're going to work on that as well, try and get live streaming of games. I've contacted ESPN and TSN. We're a maybe on that. More probable Facebook Live, but we're working on it. You guys know the folks that are in charge here. Unfortunately, Scotty and Jeb couldn't be here, but the rest of the guys are here. Any issues, complaints, let us know. As you know, not-for-profit, none of us make a penny on this league. We actually, almost all of us, if not all of us, pay our full dues. We aren't even taking that for free, so I haven't made and will not make a penny on the league, so hopefully that's some of you guys want to hear. Once we do get TSN, ESPN, I'll begin taking a salary, but not until then, all right? Okay. Mr. Nagayama is here as well. Once again, our league photographer. Very, very happy to have him at all of our events. I can tell you we've actually had some good feedback on the pictures we've seen. All the pictures on Big Chili, every picture we have that looks professional is all because of Mr. Nagayama. We really appreciate his support. Thank him for that again. So I'm going to dig in right now quickly. He's not here, but as you guys know, we reached out to Johnny Oduya last year and asked him if he wanted to be involved in SHL, and he immediately said yes. It didn't take us more than a second to convince him. So he obviously, we know, he sponsored the trophy, the MVP trophy, as you guys all know, but he also wanted to give back to hockey in Thailand. I'm sure all of you know this, but Johnny's looking to retire here at some point, get a house here, retirement home here, so he really loves Thailand. And one of the things that he mentioned doing was sponsoring a scholarship for a young Thai kid who couldn't afford to be in our league. So he's paying the dues of one Thai player. We took actual applications. Numerous individuals applied. They had to do a write-up, this whole thing to apply to get the scholarship. And we, the committee, sat down and looked at the applications, and we made a decision. And this year's scholarship winner, well, actually, go next slide, Cole, sorry, is First. I'm not going to say his Thai name, but First plays for Kanstar Rangers in the BIHL. Played for is he on the national team as well? On the Thai national team as well. Very good young player. So he's the first winner of the Johnny Oduya scholarship. So he's not here, but for the purposes of our podcast, a round of applause. So, and not that it matters that much, but it's a pretty cool thing. I mean, Johnny Oduya signed the scholarship, and we didn't just say, hey, Johnny, will you just say you'll sponsor it? We sent him the information, he read it, he approved it, he signed it. So it's just good. We're pretty psyched about how Johnny's involved in the SHL. It isn't just him saying, hey, you guys are cool. I mean, he is really involved, which is nice. So, the sponsors, obviously we mentioned the sponsors before, the 4 main sponsors, but still those are our gold. Well, the platinum sponsor, of course, Sport Corner, sponsor the whole league. Very excited about Sport Corner. Gold sponsor, Spitfire, Aware, Hertz, and Expedia. And once again, every sponsor we had before is staying. Coney Cranes, Patrick, thank you very much. KCG Corporation, Rolling Stone Pizza again, sponsoring the Player of the Game Award. Henrik's Company, the gym, house number 3. Rev Runner, the Jeb and the Pro Shop, and of course our new sponsor, Big Chili Magazine. I skipped one sponsor, True, which I'll go over in a second. Very excited about True as well. We'll go over them in a minute here. Cool. Another round of applause for Sport Corner, please. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring. One thing about Sport Corner, which is pretty cool, is not to knock Hooters at all, because Hooters was phenomenal for us, but it makes it easier for us that with Sport Corner being the sponsor, every one of our events will be here. It's good to know after games we're going to come. So, I've talked to Steve, the owner, and the other owners, and it's going to be our kind of home away from home. We're going to push to come here. I know we love the parking lot for beers afterward, but really going to push to come here more and have more events here throughout the year. Yep. Hertz, couldn't be happier about the fact that Sport Corner's great, love it, but to have an international, Hertz, an international name, being one of our gold sponsors is, I think, puts the league really kind of on the map a little bit more. Obviously, when you guys travel down to Phuket and Pattaya, you're only going to rent one car. It's going to be Hertz, of course, now. It's all we ask you. There's no other rental car company in the world but Hertz. So there you go, right? There you go, boys. All right, next up. There you go. I'm phenomenal, even for a cop. Anyway, Expedia, also a sponsor as well. Obviously you all know Expedia is for travel purposes. What we would ask you guys, so we always say support the sponsors in numerous ways, and Expedia is one that all of you are big travelers as well, so as much as you can support Expedia, we ask you to do that as well. Next up. Yep. Devin here? No? Devin's been a supporter of hockey since the day he arrived, and once again, it wasn't even a question. Really appreciate Devin stepping up once again to his company for helping us out. Devin's asked me if there's more ways he can help us. So, round of applause for Devin. Not here, Devin. And our anonymous sponsor, who all you know who he is, but our anonymous sponsor for Spitfires. Thank you very much. Next up. And really, we chose Gabor's picture. Really? That's one of the ones. That's one of the ones we chose. Come on. Anyway, so Mac, who's been injured and once again not able to play in the league this year, just can't be happy about Jeff McIntyre offering it up. There's a few changes to the that sponsor, the Player of the Game Award. There's a few changes which we think is fair. We asked you guys, if you do win the Player of the Year, win the Player of the Week award, these aren't transferable, and it's going to be kind of a minimum purchase when you go. Just walk and grab a pizza and go. There'll be a minimum purchase requirement. A couple of rules. It's online. You can find it, but pretty much same thing. Win the Player of the Week award, you get a free pizza at Rolling Stone. And we are gonna try and we are gonna have a couple of events there as well. A couple of parties there. I know that last year, I think Spitfire had a party there end of the year, and I'm going to encourage all the teams this year to have one team party at Rolling Stone throughout the year. Yep. So this is one thing we're very, very proud of. We're working with True Hockey Company, who is in Canada. And we work with them to be our first ever official equipment sponsor for the SHL. We're going to get a 15% discount on equipment, plus what's very important for all of you who live here, who don't have the ability to send stuff like I do, it's free shipping. They're going to do twice a year, 2 shipments this year, a 15% discount plus free shipping. I can tell you right now, questions are no problem. What do you need? No import duties.
No, they would cover that.
They're going to cover the import duties.
So it's not made in Thailand?
Not made in Thailand. So they're going to cover the entire shipping cost for 2 shipments during the year. So,
But it's dependent on that we get the order in. And
yeah. So right now, when I'm finished here, up front here is all the true stuff. We encourage you to look the next few days online here. If you want to order something, I can tell you now, I have a true stick. Love it. I know Prash has got skates. A few guys here have true gear, and I so far so good for me. But really, I would encourage you all to order a piece of equipment. We like to show True that they're ordering stuff. I think in the future they want to do more partnership. They want to do hockey schools out here. They want to do a lot. But I think as of now we have 4 or 5 orders only. So I would encourage you, if you want to order something, 15% off, free shipping. You really can't beat it. So look into that as well. All right, the reason you're all here, not to hear me talk for an hour and a half. So, the draft. No, hold on. I don't want to ruin anything yet. Let me go to my page here. Okay, so. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, next slide. Okay, next slide, Cole. All right, so we have 52 full-time skaters, 4 full-time goalies. A really important part to understand is I know there are about 13 or so guys that weren't drafted, but much more importantly this year, and the goalies that are here can feel good about their abilities, we had about 10 goalies that wanted to play, and only 4 were drafted. So that's kind of a big deal. But I want to stress, and a lot of you guys might get upset about it, we really want to stress over and over again that we do understand the implications of not drafting everybody, goalies included. So this year, how we did things this year, and we'll go more in depth, is we kept a core group of players on each team, a core group. Then there were some trades that were made. And why were there trades? For example, the MVP, Donnie Kerfoot, left. That left quite the big hole in Spitfires. We had tried to fill Spitfires' lack of scoring after he left, and when you try to fill that hole, guess what? Other holes exist. So we decided, it took us a while with the captains, but we kept the core group, we made a few trades, and then we did the draft. So as we go through, you'll see, my plan today is announced for you guys the core, each team one by one. We'll do aware first, who was the core, what trades were made, and then who was drafted. I will tell you now, the most important thing about this year is the first thing we decided to do was change all the goalies. So every goalie changed teams. So when we did that, and the loss of a few players, you'll see there's lots of changes in the league.
So goalies are not core.
The goalies are not core players, correct. You know what? You got drafted. Suck it up.
You're a player now.
So once again, and this is not to be taken lightly. We did ask all 4 captains last year, Mike, Patrick, Brad, and Justin, to become captains again. It ain't the easiest job, and all 4 of them said yes very quickly. Thank you guys so much for that. Obviously, this year, communication matters a lot. I'll go over this in a second, but as far as we have a lot of subs this year, a lot of good subs this year. So with that, if you're not going to make a game, communicate that as early as you can. We put the schedule out over a month ago. So when you know what team you're on now, after today, and you know you won't make a game, we want to let people know as soon as possible we can begin to get these subs put in place. Okay, hold on. All right, so aware, like I said, core trades draft. I will announce aware first. The core team was... Okay, so the core team was Patrick, Yin, Devin, Corey, and Christian. That was the core team. The guys that stuck around. So if you're on aware last year and you aren't up there, you were moved. Okay, and the goalie this year for aware is Gabor. So Gabor moved from Titanium over to aware. So that was the first trade we made. Next up was Playoff MVP, Joni Heinen, has been moved from Sport Corner Titanium to Aware. I can tell you right now that Patrick wanted some more goal scoring, and we gave him the playoff MVP. Next up.
It's also because you have a red helmet.
And you got a red helmet, sorry, so we need you to go there. So, David Moore also moved over from Spitfire over to Aware. And then I think the rest are draft picks.
Yeah.
Okay, so Thai player Pugh was picked. Next, keep going, Cole. Pugh. Rakchai, also a Thai national team player. Oh, Ali, a very good player, was picked up by them in the draft. Darius. Ryan Yaden, for those of you who see Ryan out there on shitty nights. And who's that? And Nikki, of course. Nikki was a sub last year and now a full-time player on Aware. So this is hold on one second, leave it here. This is the Aware squad for the year. I want to stress, I apologize. I'm going to announce the drafted players in no particular order. So this is not in order they were drafted. So this is the Aware squad. Okay, next up, Spitfires. So Spitfire had, let's see here, hold on. What was the thing on Spitfire? We had the least, hey, Christian. They were the least number of draft picks or most number of draft picks? I forgot.
No, I don't remember.
Anyway, so here's the thing. Spitfire lost the MVP. There's rumors Donnie might come back, but as of now, probably not. So right now, remember, this was our biggest thing. Is Spitfire lost the MVP of the league, so we had to fill that void. Okay. So,
you're right. The core is.
This is the largest core players that stuck around of any team was Spitfire. Okay, first up, the core. So, Brad, Adrian, Scotty Murray, David Burney, Ernesto, Harrison, Jason Bitter, and Beam. That's the largest number of core guys we kept of any team, but this is the core. So trades, some pretty big trades. So first up, Colsey, Mike White. M. White moved over, big trade. M. White, when they lost Donnie.
This is to replace Donnie.
It's to replace Donnie. It's to replace Donnie. I'm happy you're here. No pressure, Mike. No pressure. So M. White, and then Dream became the goalie for Spitfires. So Dream is the goalie for Spitfires. Hold on. Okay, next up, Tan. So everyone knows last year's Rookie of the Year award went to Tan. So we try to replace the offense they lost in Donnie. Rookie of the Year, M. White, kept a couple of your superstars. Next up, Tommy. Tommy moved over from Hooters. So got a little offensive power from the D. Gary Kazi moved over from Hooters. Was Hooters?
Yeah.
As well. So defensive player from Titanium It, who if you have not seen It in the last few months, has improved immensely. So phenomenal type player It. And then last but not least, out of retirement, Richie, coming off out of retirement playing for Spitfire. There's a Spitfire team right there, boys. All right, next up, Hertz. Last year's runner-up, Hooters, has become Hertz. They are the Hertz squad. They got the Big Bull colors, I think. So, they got the matching uniforms. Next up, the core for Hertz is, okay, so Andy Bryan stayed, Moose stayed, Justin, of course, and Sebastian. So, only kept about 5 players from the last year's team. Next up, their trades. From Aware, they picked up 3 players from Aware. Champ, Brandon, and Bill. Picked up one of the top goal scorers in Brandon and one of the top defensemen in Champ. Next up, Alistair over from Spitfires. Huh? And Lance. I didn't see Lance. So Lance over from with a goalie change. Lance and Alistair from Spitfires moved over to Hertz.
Peter.
Huh?
Peter.
So for those of you who don't know, Peter is a Swedish defenseman who was on the higher A team for Flying Frogs for a few years. He went to Korea for a couple of years, and now he's back. He's playing in the tournament coming up, but he's a quality defenseman, and we put him on Hertz. Next up, Kim Lidberg, also a lot of Swedes. Kim, very good player, fast player, picked him up for the offense to help out the forwards on Hertz. Next up, So, big announcement for those of you who have not seen her play. First full-time female player in SHL history, Carly Hill, played professional hockey in Canada. You've not seen her play. She is amazing. She is on Hertz, and she is going to be a very, very good player for Hertz. I think most of you have seen her play, but she's awesome. So like I said, Hertz is going to get a lot of publicity this year, so we're going to push the female involvement in the league a lot, so we're happy to have her. Next up, her on Hertz. What? Oh, Mike Triaka. That's a big pickup, another Swiss player. Also a nice pickup for Hertz. Next up. Yeah, Swiss.
I hope he's much more nicer than you.
And speaking of nice, Ralph on Hertz as well. This is your Hertz squad. All right, and next up, last year's champions, name change, Sport Corner Titanium now is Expedia. So the core group from last year, Yari, Remo, Pratch, Mike Wilson, and myself. That's the core group we kept from last year. Next up, goaltender Eve. Yeah. Okay, also I think we had another trade, or no? Is it all draft pick now? Next up, La came over. La from Hooters, right? From Hooters? Yep. Yeah, La from Hooters. Next up. So this is the draft. So Win from the Thai national team is on Expedia. And also Yohani. Hey, Yohani's on the Expedia squad as well. And the scholarship winner first. Our scholarship winner is going to be on Expedia. Also, draft picks are, go ahead, Cole. Ashton, who's going to be not here today, but he's a newer player. If you've seen him on Thursday nights, he's out. As is Rob Taylor, last year's, what were you, the substitute, what best sub, what, Impact Sub of the Year awards you won. He was on a squad as well. And Chap, a Thai player, young Thai player as well. And then Andrew Schutzdom, who's also a new player. I think Andrew and Jordan both work at the Canadian International School, I think. Is that right? And both those guys are on Expedia. So there's your Expedia squad as well. So those are your 4 teams. And next up, Cole, next page. All right, so one thing we are extremely excited about, not that we use the USA jersey for this slide, which I love, but which is kind of cool. But this year's sub base is amazing. Really, I think last year we had a much smaller list. If you see some of the names, Henrik and Jörg and Tor, Steven Sproul, on a really, really good list of subs on this list. I will say right now, just so you guys know, because of the number of subs this year, and a few subs that are the folks that were not drafted are subs as well, the 4 captains are going to be involved in this, but we're going to get a lot more subs this year. We're going to try and integrate more subs throughout the games. We will make it fair. If we're taking a second-tier sub for the game, both teams will take a second-tier sub. Scott will talk to the captains about that more as we move forward, but you will see more subs this year throughout the year. Next up, go back. So there is the schedule for this year. I will point out a couple of dates. You'll see a lot of Thursdays. You'll see in a couple of dates in December and January. We're taking a couple of Sundays off, Thursdays off due to holidays. The reason we did the schedule this year, how we did it, is as you all know, last year we had a problem over Songkran. And we had a problem with people leaving, and we had to really, the first round of the playoffs, we wish it was more of the core teams. We used a lot of subs, and our goal is not to do that this year. So we're trying to be done before April. We'll figure maybe next year we'll change it, but this year, talking to a bunch of players and looking at holidays, this is how it's going to be. Now that you know the schedule and know what team you're on, a much better chance for you to know what games you'll make and miss. So as soon as you maybe go home today, tomorrow, next few days, look at your schedules and let people know what games you're going to miss. I'm going to highlight one game. November 16th, Thursday, our second game. We're going to have a Finnish TV show is going to be in town. They are, according to our Finnish friends, it's a very, very popular show, very popular broadcast in Finland. They're doing a TV show in the run-up to the Pyeongchang Olympics in Korea. They want to do a show. They're going to go to a bunch of different countries and highlight ice hockey in those countries. They've contacted us, and they want to do a show about Thailand. And we're honored they've chosen the SHL to do that about. They're going to interview the Johnny Oduya scholarship winner, but more importantly, on the night of the 16th, they're going to come to the games, interview people, cover the games. We're going to have the host do the drop the puck, and we ask all of you to, if you can make that game. After that game, we want to come back down to Sport Corner after those games and do kind of an after-game beers and drinks here, and they're going to interview a bunch of you, talk to you, and even though you aren't from Finland, it's going to be pretty big news there. So I'll highlight that one game. As we go on, we'll put it on Twitter and Facebook and all, but we're going to have a few of these nights, have Sport Corner nights, have Rolling Stone nights. I know that the sponsor, Hertz, Expedia sponsor, wants to make those Hertz Expedia games kind of rivalry games, and we're going to have some events surrounding those games as well. So, on your calendar, when you see Hertz and Expedia play, but you don't play for those two teams, you're on a Ware Spitfire, stick around those nights. We're going to have drink specials, might have events, might have some fun things those nights as well. So looking forward to a few good nights coming up. We have not planned the awards party yet, but that'll be next year. But the one thing you will notice is the playoffs. So the playoffs are a little different this year. We're going to have the 2 out of 3 for the semifinals. So we'll still be best 2 out of 3 for the semis, but the finals is going to be one game. The one game Super Bowl, not 2 out of 3. And you will see the final is on March 17th. So we're going to have the final game at 7:15 on Saturday, March 17th. And we're going to roll that into the party here afterward. No, here or there? The party will be here afterward. We're still going to have a separate awards party. We'll give out all the awards. But the SHL Championship, we're going to do a party here that night on March 17th. So that'll be a good night there. We may do some things at the rink, on the ice. Hopefully have some media there to cover it. Big Chile, a few places to cover it. But then that's going to be a one-game final. We thought that'd be more fun, get everyone involved, and have a party that night. Next up. All right, so I went through that pretty quickly. Took an hour. Kotzi's here. Hey, Kotzmeyer, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you, bud. Jason Kotzmeyer, hello, everybody. Unfortunately, Jason's on the IR. I think for this whole season, I'm not sure. We'll see. Half season at least, but if we can get Kotz off the IR, we'll work on that. But good to see Jason here. Hey, so I covered all that pretty quickly. Any questions, concerns, comments? No?
You mentioned...
Yes, sir.
Whatever.
Please,
We can do this.
bring it.
Anyway, so there's going to be a lot more sub involvement this year. Do we have sub jerseys ready that are going to be available at the rink? For the
Yes.
sub? Okay.
Absolutely. We're going to make sure we have them there.
We ordered more also than last year.
We ordered more. Last year we didn't have enough. We ordered more. But you reminded me of one thing. So for those of you who have not been at Shinny for a while, who missed that week, Stan, the Slovakian ambassador, was at Shinny a few weeks ago, and he broke his wrist. It was a pretty bad break. If it wasn't for our instant medic, Brad there, who did a great job setting the wrist and saving his life is what I say. Even though it's a broken wrist, I say he saved his life. But we did see the weakness in the first aid issues at the rink. So we want you guys to know that we have brought up to the rink leadership kind of the issue we had that night, and please understand that we've got the first aid system ready to go. We have the first aid room will be available and open for us. We'll have emergency numbers available. That was one thing we were lacking last year. Luckily, we had no major incidents, but that bothered us a little bit, and we are going to be more prepared this year for any first aid issues. What am I forgetting? I covered it all.
We're buying
Please. What?
buying a first aid kit.
Yeah. And we're going to buy a first aid kit as well for our purposes to have it as well. Yes?
I noticed in the last month there's been a heavy set of fog on the rink at nighttime. Is there something we can do to address, is that going to be a problem in the next few months, do you think?
We hope not. We've been going back and forth with Pew on that, and he is aware of the issue. I won't go too in depth in the fact that for some reason BIHL games had no fog, but our Thursday games did. But we know, and it's supposedly getting fixed, and if not, we will address it as soon as possible. Going to give it a shot and see how the first games go, but hopefully we should be all right. I did forget one major thing. For those of you who did not see, behind Pratch over here is a bunch of swag. Our goal is to really get the SHL name out there. A lot of you pretty quickly purchased hats. But we have hats and shirts and a really cool pair of board shorts if you want those. But we're going to order a lot more swag this year, a lot more hats and shirts and all. Our goal is to make the SHL brand get out there. We're pretty proud of what we did, and we want to. So spread the word, buy what you want to buy. We're ordering new shirts. For those of you who bought this shirt and realized this patch here caused a sweat issue here, it kind of sucked. So we're working on that. Our new shirts aren't going to have that problem, but we're going to make more and more swag as it goes on. Prash is working on a few things. The hats are pretty nice.
Give him a second there to.
What's it?
Give him the mic for a few seconds. Let him sell it and what he's got.
Yeah, we'll show what you got. What do we have? We got hats. Come on, Pratch. Show we got the hats. We got, hold the hat up in the air. Cool. All different color hats. Blue hats. We do have more of these t-shirts if you want to buy them. Hats. You got to wear a second shirt underneath it, which I do. Lots of hats, and then...
200 bucks.
Yeah, these shirts are 200 baht. We're giving them away. The hats are, I think, 450. Shorts, t-shirts. For those who didn't buy them, we got the summer skates here. You're going to order more of those if you want to order summer skates. Yeah, right there. So, anyway, we're going to try and do more orders throughout the year. A lot of things will be on the website, so you can go online. We have kind of a line online to order. So that'll be throughout the year. And I believe, if no more, that's it, I think. All right, well, thank you guys all for coming out. Like I said, we got about 25% of the league here. I know it seems real, we do. I do want to add one more thing. I was asked to add this. If you haven't seen it, from the Thai national team and Thai Association, there are discussions about a new league. If you see these discussions about a new Thai ice hockey league, I talked to Johanny about it. If you see it, all that matters about it is that we've spoke to the association. It's not going to be competing against the SHL. It's going to be different nights. There are discussions where they want to have a full contact league or partial contact league for the purposes of the International Ice Hockey Federation. They need to have that to get ranking and all. But all those rumors you guys have heard, we are working in cooperation with Thai national team, with the association. So a few guys asked me, is that going to be on the same nights? Absolutely not. So feel free to play in those other leagues. I probably will. But if you guys see the names and all, so don't be concerned about that. There'll be no. And it'll also be at Samrong. Anyway, I just wanted you guys to know that as well. But thank you all for coming out. And the first games are on November 12th. We'll see you guys out there. Enjoy the food and the beer. One more question?
No, just say thank you to Christian and John.
It's all for love, boys. All for love. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.